welcome back to the Consciously Thriving podcast.
Hello. Welcome back to another week.
You know, we introduce it like that every single time. Like one of us welcomes it and the other person goes, hello.
What do you do? It's just like one of these things you have to navigate with two people.
What are you going to do? Plutes, mate, we've restarted this a couple of times and you continue to move.
Yeah, we have a special guest here today.
Yes.
By the name of Pluto.
Yes.
He's a 9.5 month old staffy.
Yes.
And he's mine, Nadia's. And he's a little bit cheeky, so we do apologise if you can hear some noises in the background. I don't know, if anyone has a staffy, let me know. They make a particular sound, like when you put them outside or anything like that. It sounds like a proper seal is wailing, and we're just like battling.
It's a unique sound.
It's a unique sound, but I went camping I think a few months ago, and one of the people I went camping with had a staffy, and she said it was the exact same noise. Like, it's just classic.
I remember the first time I heard that noise, I was extremely hungover.
Oh, yeah,
from
you
a
were
night
hungover,
out,
yeah.
and I couldn't believe that was even coming out of his mouth.
Yeah.
And I've got like misophonia. I think we've spoken about that on the podcast before. Issue with sounds.
Yeah.
And that was an interesting sound. So
we've battled. Do we keep him here while he's like walks around, like roams around the couch and you can hear him, or do you want to hear a wailing in the background?
you guys choose.
You guys choose. But he is here with us today. Right now, he's leaning on the couch, ready for some sunshine.
Yeah, he loves a bit of a sunbathing.
He is so funny. Like wherever the sun is, like see how in front of us the sun's right there. Like he just goes and sunbakes. He loves it.
He's a black dog as well, so like they absorb the heat so much more.
They do.
No.
Anyway, Pluto just got such a beautiful introduction.
He really did. No, he's really cute. We were actually talking about at the start of the year. We did a year ahead reading on both of us.
Yeah.
And I remember it was at the start of the year, I saw that Nadia was getting a dog this year and she was like not planning on it at that time.
Yeah.
I was like, nah, there's a dog. I'm like, it's really strong. He's really, really there. And I said that he had a really weird, funny personality, or something about his personality was really special.
Yeah.
And it's so spot on.
It's so spot on.
And we're just like reminiscing about that time and now meeting Pluto and we're like, wow.
Wow, you were a live manifestation come to reality.
Yeah, honestly.
So cute. So today's episode is all about how to manage your romantic relationships when one person in the relationship wakes up to the universe, starts working on their mental health, starts getting into personal development, yet the other partner is not vibrating on that wavelength. How to navigate that without pushing everyone away around you in your life.
Yeah, because when you wake up to spirituality particularly and you start to work on yourself, and then the people in your life, it's 11:11 now, and the people around you in your world, your family, your friends, your partner, they're not on the same wavelength as you. They're not seeing the world through your eyes. They can be very, very challenging and a really lonely experience at the beginning. And it's something that we both have to navigate in our own ways, but particularly in relationships, we want to talk about it. Nadia and I have been in a long-term relationship, both together. Sound like we're talking about each other. No, so we both have separate relationships, high school sweethearts. I've been with my partner for 9 years and she's been with her partner for 10 years.
Yeah, so Shulai's partner, if you don't know, his name is Daniel.
Yeah.
And my partner is Anthony.
Yeah, so we basically have grown up with them, but also we've had these like spiritual awakenings and woken up to this side of the universe. And it was definitely one of the more challenging things we've had to navigate. And we feel like we're in a place where we could impart some wisdom of what we've learned of our experience and just have a chat about that, how to navigate.
Yeah, and I think what we share today isn't just apply to romantic relationships. It can apply to friendships, family, wherever you see fit. We just want to really drill down what we've experienced and what we've learned. And I'm repeating myself. But before we get into today's episode, we just want to share that there will be a really exciting announcement coming. I think maybe next week will come out, or maybe the week after. We're still navigating timelines, but there is an exciting announcement that we'll be announcing. So keep up to date with the podcast, keep up to date with our socials, and you might just be in luck for a beautiful offer coming your way.
I know, we're really excited about this. We've wanted to do something for a while, and we literally put it up to the universe, and we had no expectation to what we were going to do together, and we were just like, you know what, the universe will give us the thing when we need to, and I'm sure like we'll explain more as the time comes, but I ended up like getting this download of like what we needed to do next, and it just came at the most, like, it was just random. It just came in. I messaged Nadia and she's like, fuck off. She's like, I got that same download. So it was just really interesting and so like divinely guided how it comes in, and it was just such a beautiful reminder. I don't know why I feel called to share this, not right now, but somebody might need to hear this. But if you're like searching for an answer, if you're pushing for an answer in your next direction and where you're meant to go, just stop pushing, because the pushing is what keeps you in that constant cycle of pushing and trying to find the answer, when you could just take a step back and allow the universe to bring you the answer when the time is right, because when it comes in, it'll be perfect. It'll be exactly what you needed when you needed it. Don't know why that needed to come through. I could feel that.
Yeah, just be open to receiving. We can't be, the next steps can't be given to us if we're like in a frequency of searching for them, or we're too distracted and we're too busy focusing on what the next step is, that we don't actually see the universe presenting it in front of our own eyes.
Absolutely. Let's get into the chatty chat
episode. I reckon we should start. Let's go back to the start and share how, at the very start of our awakenings, how we were with our partners. Like, what happened?
Yeah, I feel like my story really differs from yours because I woke up alone. So I woke up before you did. I woke up like no one in my reality was on my wavelength. They did not understand what I was going through. And obviously it needed to be like that for a reason. But essentially, like, my partner has probably been one of the most challenging humans to work with in terms of this stuff, just because of our very like polarizing opinions on this world, on spirituality. So my partner and I actually bonded over the fact that we were atheists. So that was something that we would just tease, like we would, you know, talk shit about people who are into like religion and things like that. Would be like, oh my God, that's so dumb, as if they believe that. I'm being so transparent, but that is literally what we were like. So he doesn't think like that anymore. Like, we've grown up, but I'm trying to give you the background on what the basis of the relationship was built around. So we really bonded over the fact that we rejected religion together, or rejected spirituality. And we really bonded over like realism and being realistic and shit like that, right? So when I had my spiritual awakening, I went through like the biggest, like, oh my goodness, do I have to leave my partner now? He does not see the world through my eyes. He's going to think that I'm crazy. So I actually hid a lot of this stuff from him for a long time. I just literally isolated myself in my study, and I sat there and I meditated 5 times a day, just my mind blowing, like completely like going off, and I'm just like, who am I? What the fuck?
Yeah, literally. Just one of those, like, yeah, like when you started waking up, it's like, I can't really talk to him about it. And like you feel so isolated.
Yeah, I really, really, really did. I would slowly start to... Something that happens at the start of like an awakening is, I feel like there are stages. So there's a stage of like waking up and you're like, whoa. And then you're like, oh my God, what are people going to think of me? They're going to think I'm crazy and I've gone nuts and blah, blah, blah. You kind of move through that awkward muck. I don't know if this was like your experience, but you let me know if it was. And then it was, okay, now I have... it's like you realize that it's true, you get the proof that it's true, and then you're like, oh my God, this is fucking insane, everyone needs to know this. And then you start projecting onto everyone and you try to make everyone see the world through your eyes, and you're like, no. And then you start judging people who are unconscious, right? Or who aren't conscious to spirituality and who haven't had their awakenings and don't see the world through this lens, because you're like, are you dumb? Like, come on. Not you're dumb, but you know what I mean? Like, can you not see the world through my eyes? Can you not see that this is happening? And you wake up, and you're like, you know, if I kept thinking, oh my God, if somebody gave me this information, I would listen to them. If they were going through these experiences, I'd listen to them, and I'd be like, oh my God, like, tell me what you're going through. Like, I remember telling my partner about these crazy, like, past life experiences and, you know, astral projecting and my soul leaving my body and all of these things. And he just had no care in the world for it. He was just like, okay, cool. Like, that's your experience. And I used to be like, if my partner came to me and was saying those things, like, I'd be so curious to learn and wanting to, like, dive deeper into it.
Yeah, I had a really similar experience in terms of when you said judging. So what I noticed with me is, you know, I started working on my mental health through Shoelace Awakening. I started meditating, doing all those sort of practices. One of the things that I experienced, like what I felt was really difficult, was when, just say, Anthony came home and he would be frustrated and annoyed at something that happened, or he would be negative, because I was really like trying to vibrate on a positive frequency. And I, you know, the things that he was worrying about, I was just so far past that anymore. Like, I was like, I don't see the world through that way anymore. So I noticed there was an element of me pushing him away, like getting frustrated and just feeling like we're so different. Like, I went through that phase of feeling like I just want to be with myself, or I just want to talk to people in this world only. And I feel like, yeah, there was a navigating period where I was like, I don't know, like, you know, is this going to work? Because we just don't see the world the same.
Yeah. No, I completely resonate with that. Like, this whole, is it going to work? Is this person, like, meant for me? Because you do feel so different, right? And you wonder, like, yeah, can you navigate life together now, having two completely different perspectives? Because what we do know about being in this space, like, everyone knows this is not a spiritual, like, term, is, you know, who you surround yourself with. Look at, like, what do they say? Look at the closest people in your life and I can predict your future.
Yeah.
Right? The people that you surround yourself with, that's, like, who you end up, like, molding into. It's natural. It's just what happens. So, you know, I was, like, I really thought about, you know, do I want to have this influence over my life, you know, or like, is he able to grow with me, or is he not able to? I actually remember this distinct moment. I was meditating in my lounge room and I asked the universe, this is when I really put the question out there, and I was like, am I supposed to be with Daniel, like, or am I not? And in that moment, he never ever bothers me while I'm meditating. He literally came, like, he like came on me and kissed me and then walked away.
Wow, there you go. Universe 101.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like, he legit came and kissed me and then walked away.
Yeah,
so
amazing.
The universe spoke directly.
The universe spoke. Okay, so what I feel like, I want, you know, if you're in this position, I want you to be able to walk away from this episode with a different perspective. Like, if you're in this awkward period feeling like you're pushing people away, this is what I'm about to say is a huge perspective shift that I think helped me completely. And this is the one question my coach asked me when I was going through it, and I used to work with him one-on-one when I was just feeling like, you know, I'm feeling different from Anthony. He asked me, why, and ask yourself this question, why do I feel the need to have my partner see the world through my eyes? Right? And what really came through with that question was, why do I need my partner to see the world the exact same way as I do? And that was a really, really eye-opening question, because I was like, oh my God, you're so right. Like, who am I to sit there and judge someone on or have a mindset that I recently, not even just like ages ago, recently had myself.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly right.
Right? And this is the thing. This is where I feel people with religion and things like that, not always, I'm not bashing on anyone that, you know, because you have a religious value, but, you know, that gets so annoyed that people see the world differently, right? I believe, you know, we're all here on earth, here on earth to just experience life. And who am I? Because I see the world through this eyes, and I believe in manifestation, and I believe in the magic side of things, and that's my belief. Who am I to project that onto someone? Because if I thought about it like 1 year ago when I was going through it, how would I feel if someone was, you know, pounding on me with all this information about spirituality and I hadn't experienced that, right? Because spirituality is such an experience, you can't explain it. And when he asked me that, I was like, you're right. Like, Anthony is a beautiful person. He's really kind. Like, you know, he was doing work on his mental health, which was really important. But why do I have to sit there? And why does he have to see the world through my eyes? And actually, him not seeing the world through my eyes, but being a little bit open with being closed-minded, allowed me to become a better teacher, actually, being able to explain this. And I know you said that recently with Daniel as well. It allowed you to become probably a more clear teacher.
Well, I think Anthony is fucking open as.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's, like, pretty insane. Like, you know, at the start he wasn't, but now he's fully, like, since you have taken the back seat and you were like, you know what, like, you've changed your perspective and you stopped projecting this view and this, like, way of thinking onto him, and he had a chance to choose if he wanted to explore this or not, choose if he wanted to listen. He bought a book from the holistic psychologist. Like, he's listening to extraterrestrial podcasts.
He's open now.
He's really, like, taking an interest, and I think that that's, like, pretty incredible that you, like, you know, you just see what happened when you took a step back.
Yeah.
I think what happens particularly with, like, partners is that you naturally just reject what the other one is saying because it's like family, right? You're just like, it's too close. You don't want to listen to it. You want to rebel against it. I don't know why. Like, my partner and I have this inside joke that we don't even disagree with each other, but just, like, always, whenever one of us has an opinion or we say something, the other person goes to, like, reject the opinion or, like, challenge the opinion without even realizing that we're doing it. It's just an inside joke.
We're so close to
we're so close that we're just like, shut up, you know? I can kind of see it happening with me and you now, like, because we're so close now that we just, like, want to, like, mess with each other by going, nah. Like, do you know what I mean? But we're not actually, like, disagreeing, so it's actually funny. I don't know if that makes sense. I feel like it makes sense when you're in those, like, really close relationships. But yeah, I completely agree in terms of, like, what you said about the, like, why do I need my partner to see the world through my eyes? And another really good thing to ponder on and to ask yourself is this actually important to me? Like, sit there and be real with yourself, because if you actually need somebody to be spiritual, to be in your, like, in your world and to see the world through your eyes, like, I have friends who they need their partner to be spiritual. They don't want to be with somebody who doesn't see the world through those eyes. Like, they through, like, real, like, they don't want a realist person or whatever. They want somebody to be spiritual and in this space, and they want to explore spirituality, like, with a partner. Whereas for me, I really had to take a step back and ask myself, is it important for me that somebody, like, is spiritual? Or is it important for me to be with somebody who has an open mind? And for me, it was like, okay, I actually value, like you said, I'm in a happy relationship. I love the person, all of that. I just need somebody who can be supportive, interested in what I'm doing, and just open mind. Just have an open mind. And I enjoy it now when Daniel challenges me as well.
Yeah, it makes you a better teacher. I think the most important thing in life is to be open to different perspectives. And yeah, so that was, like, the number one question I asked myself. And yeah, really go there and ask yourself, like, why do I need that? And ask if this is a core belief of yours. Like, is there an insecurity there where you just feel like maybe deep down you're not believing the depth of spirituality? You know, maybe there's a bit of doubt beneath the surface. But something I also want to share with you when it comes to, there's actually a few things when it comes to partnerships. Another thing that I learned along the journey is that no one likes a talker. No one likes to sit there and hear someone say, this is real, this is real, this is real. You have to show people in your life that this is real.
Yeah.
And how do you show it? You show it by stop proving yourself and start getting to work and walking the talk. Like, if you believe in manifestation and the magic and, you know, that you're going to go after your dream life and your goals, no one wants to hear you talk, but not experience it, right? So my motto is, like, not that I'm here to prove to people that this is real, because I know deep down this world exists, and in my opinion, of course. But if you're listening to this podcast, I bet you do too. But ask yourself, like, would you rather see someone who's telling you about it, like, you know, the stories and the experiences, and see how they've actually been able to manifest all the things that they once said that they would, or, like, do that? Or would you rather just hear about it? And I bet you would rather see it come as proof in real life, and that's because we're human beings and we love to see proof. The ego loves to see proof. So just remember, is all your job is to just keep working and keep doing you, and eventually you will prove to your partner that this stuff does exist. There is no other option for them but to just see it come to fruition.
But not necessarily as well. Like, I'm telling you from a point of view of somebody whose partner is really, really, really not into it. Like, this is like, Anthony's cool like that. Like, he can see that, like, he believes it, really. He does.
Yeah.
I can see it come. He talks about it to us all the time. Daniel won't. Daniel doesn't think that what I've achieved so far is like because of this logic stuff. To it. He thinks, well, of course she has. Like physically she's taking the action. He doesn't see the spirituality side. He genuinely does not. Like, that doesn't put two and two together. He can't see it. He's had spiritual experiences where his soul, like, levitating, all of that lucid dreaming. He's done that. He does not believe it. So this is like for those people whose partners like will never ever 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 see your point of view.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah, I'm thinking more in the sense that people don't think it's possible to even achieve your goals and stuff like that. I still think there's an element of Daniel where he's like, yeah, like I get what you're saying. Like, he's just so logical. He just thinks that's hard work and it's just he's
just putting two and two together. He's like, you've taken the action, you're moving towards something. Of course, like, a physical result is going to come out of that.
Yeah. All right. So if you're sitting there with your partner, like, just say your partner's a little bit open and skeptic, in like, just say that's like you're in a position of mind where your partner's just like a little bit open, but they're iffy, then it might be a matter of being able to prove it to them. Not in a way of like, you know, stuff you prove it, but like, yeah, if you're in that frequency of they're not there yet, but they could be and they're moving towards it, then no one like, I know for a fact that my partner doesn't want to hear about it. He would rather, you got to prove it to him.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're in Shulei's position, then probably just ask yourself like, yeah, like, just, does it bother you? Like, whatever it is, what it is.
Yeah, you just have to ask yourself exactly right. Like, do I need somebody to be able to see this point of view eventually, or not? Because you've got to be, realistic, because they could never come around.
Yeah.
They could never see it in that point of view or that way.
Yeah, and what I meant to like walking the talk as well, it's really like more in the sense if, you know, you have your dreams and people are telling you that can't happen. I think being able to, I know I haven't experienced that and Daniel hasn't been able to experience it. Shulei's doing her sock. But the walking the talk thing really applies to when, you know, you tell the people in your life, you tell your partner, I've got these dreams, and they say, not realistic, it's not going to happen. Like, Daniel's not sitting there saying that will never happen. Like, he's using his logical mind. But if you're in that position of your partner being like, babe, that's not realistic for you, you can't start that business, and telling you not, proving it to them is going to do more wonders to you than just sitting there and talking about it, right, every day.
Yeah, and I think you have to really take a step back. Like, are you in a situation where somebody, like, maybe they're just not, for example, my situation with Daniel is, okay, he doesn't see the world through my eyes. He doesn't see spirituality, even though I've told him all these crazy experiences. I've literally made predictions, guys. Like, I've woken up and had psychic premonitions come through, and I've said it and it's come to fruition. He thinks that's all coincidence. So even though all of that is there, right? Even though like I'm experiencing that with Daniel, I still have somebody who's willing to grow, who's willing to change his mindset, who's willing, you know, so he's willing to make himself a better person, to live a better life, to be more happy, to work on himself. So he does all of that. And that's what I need. That was my value, right? I was like, I need to be around somebody who's going to better themselves. If I'm around somebody who's going to be negative, who's going to keep like perpetuating lack and shit like that, all the things that I don't want to be around. I don't want to have that in my life. I don't want a partner who's like that. So if that was my experience. So if your partner is a very negative person, they're not changing, they're not choosing to see a different way, they're not like bettering themselves as a human being besides whatever the fuck they believe in, then you've got to ask yourself, do I want to be associated with this person? Do I want this person in my life? Because that's a different ball game.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's what I was insinuating with that. It was really about someone who doesn't want to believe in you, doesn't, you know, think that that's even possible. And it's not their fault. It's what society has taught us, that dreaming big isn't, whatever your dream is, whatever reality you're trying to work towards, whatever goals you have, we've been taught that, it's hard work and that those things aren't possible. Just ask yourself if that's a relationship you really want to be in. But you don't necessarily have to prove the magic behind manifestation. Like, you can believe that within you, but yeah, just if someone's rejecting your goals, like, your job is not to do it in a way of like, stuff you, look what I've got, look at what I've achieved, but just show the people in your life. Like, that's how we've been able to learn. The people in our life, our coaches and influencers and stuff like that we're around so much, is because they've really embodied it and made the change in their life, and that's what's really valuable to us. So just ask yourself if that's a relationship you really are gonna thrive in getting your goals, right?
Exactly. I think there's like two separate elements to this. Like, if the person is toxic, if the person is negative, if they're not willing to grow and learn, and we're not sitting here going, oh my god, like, our partners have been perfect. Like, I know my partner has had like a lot of growing and learning to do, but also I've had a lot of learning and growing to do. Like, if you have somebody who's willing to learn and grow and the other person isn't willing to learn and grow, then that's not going to work. That's not a conducive environment. You're just going to continue to keep yourself small and keep yourself stuck and keep yourself in the same shit of what you don't deserve, right? Yeah. So you have to ask yourself, is this person actually serving me? Do I grow when I'm around this person? And just like a polarizing opinion to mine actually does help me grow when I'm around Daniel. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. It makes you, like I said, a better teacher. It allows you to have his perspective and come from a respectful place, because I think we don't do that enough. A lot of people are not open to other people's opinions, and it's just, you have to at some point just get over it and be like, I'm allowed to believe what I want to believe. And I noticed for a lot, I think I even maybe did it more to my partner than what you did to Daniel. I projected a lot.
No, I projected a lot, babe.
Yeah,
I did.
Okay. Like, I used to get so frustrated at Anthony. Like, we would get into arguments because he would be like, that's just coincidence and things like that. And he still does. Yeah. I remember that time, actually, now thinking about it, you in the car and you guys got in an argument.
Always.
Yeah.
Always. I'd be like, you don't get it.
You don't get it, right? But it's like coming from this wound. It's because we believe it so much and we know it to be true that we just want everyone to see the world through our eyes. But
it's an insecure place.
It's an insecure place because, that's the same thing. My coach asking me, why do you care? Is he a good person to you? What's more important to you at that moment? And what was important was like, I just need him to be in a more positive mindset. And he went and started working on his mindset, which was amazing.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what we did. Like, we would have these moments of like, okay, I'm unhappy in the relationship at this current moment. Like, I'm not happy with how things are going. Like, we had experienced some sort of growth and then they hadn't. They were like stagnant, right? And then not stagnant, but they were just like not like trying to better themselves. So then what we did was go to them and be like, okay, in order for us to be together, we actually did that. We had really tough conversations. I know that we both did this. We went to our partners, we sat down and we're like, okay, in order for this to work, this is what needs to change. You need to work on this. I need to start seeing this from you, right? This is really important to me. They had an option to be like, okay, is this something that I want to work on? Do I believe that this is conducive to work on in terms of like, we're talking more self-development things. I'm not saying change your like belief and religion or whatever, more self-development sort of thing. And then they did, and they were able to like, change and get better and grow with us. And that's what made it a conducive environment. But just going back to that place of like needing somebody to see your opinion, this goes like, you can look at this in every aspect, even people like on social media and things like that, these people that are like constantly fighting and constantly trying to be heard. It comes from a place of not believing it fully yourself.
Yeah, it does. Because like now I don't care because like I know.
Yeah.
Like I don't need to prove that to him. And it does come from an insecurity.
Yeah,
100%.
Exactly. Yeah. It just comes from a place of like needing somebody external or something external to validate you and your experiences, right? I know that that's exactly what it was for me. So yeah, I think just ask yourself. That's the most important thing. Ask yourself, am I supposed to, like, what do I want out of this person? Like I said, there are some people that need their partners to be spiritual. It's not a case of, like, you need to see the world through my perspective. It's just a case of, hey, can we learn and grow? And just going back to perspective, actually, something I realized about that as well is I don't even hold attachment to my perspective anymore. I don't even know if what I have experienced is the final and be all. No idea.
Yeah. We're always learning, always evolving.
Absolutely. My perspective has changed probably a million times on this entire journey of being like spiritual and learning. So that I'm not like fixated on one way of like seeing things and one like, you know, one possible outcome.
I think this is what society's missing, actually. People that are open to different opinions of the world, seeing things through different lens. Like, if anything, getting out of this episode today, and I do have one more thing I want to share with you that is really amazing when it comes to, you know, vibration and couple stuff in this world. But yeah, just be open to perspectives, because I just don't think we have enough of that in this world.
I agree.
Yeah.
I don't think so either.
Yeah. Everything in this world is an experience. That's half the issue of the world, is that we're just, our opinion's the right opinion.
Exactly.
So we want to keep this platform really authentic in that sense as well. Like, just be open. But something I want to share, and I taught this, it's actually, I teach this in a 12 Universal Laws Masterclass that you can purchase if you go to my social media accounts on Instagram. But when it comes to vibration, we have high and low vibrations, and, you know, which essentially emits energy. Low vibration can't survive too long in high vibration. So meaning if your partner is really negative and you're vibrating at a really high frequency or high vibration, it can't survive, which is why you see people like eventually leave your life, or those people will up level. And what I encourage you to do is have patience with your partner. Mindset work, personal development work is not a thing that happens overnight. So just know that the negativity from your partner, if you're experiencing that, of them being like grumpy and things like that, it can't survive too long. And by you staying positive and you know, working on yourself, you're doing them a favor. You're giving them a chance to grow with you. And that's what I've noticed in my relationship. And so is you, like, so with you, like Daniel's now like doing this work, and you didn't even have to do much. You didn't even have to say much. You just had to work on yourself.
Yes.
So, you know, and there will be a time that maybe the relationship's not working because, you know, they're not willing to change, and you can see how that low vibration won't survive anymore and that person will leave your life. But just keep that in the back of your mind, like by you being positive and continuing to do you and coming from a beautiful place, you will naturally can help your partner up level and grow. And you know, raise their frequency and vibration, which is amazing.
Yeah, no, I really like that you honed it in on that universal law, because it is true. Like, we've seen our entire lives shift based on our own vibration and where we're at. So if you're sitting there wondering, well, how do I know when I need to leave and how do I know when I need to go? Again, go back to what we've been saying in regards to, is the person trying? Are they actively trying? If they're not actively trying, then that's your answer right there. Then they're most likely not going to better themselves.
Yeah.
And they're not going to meet you where you need to be. And it's going to be a constant, like, you know, uphill battle of like, this isn't working. But if the person is actively trying to get better, like Nad's just mentioned, personal development work, self-development work, this shit takes time. Be patient, so long as you can see them trying, putting effort towards it, whether it's seeing someone, whether it's reading books, whether it's like, you know, picking themselves up slowly on like the little things that they're doing, then that's all you can really ask of the person, and you be there for them, you support them. But exactly right, in like you focusing on yourself like really helps the people around you as well.
Yeah. And I always look back at this perspective of like, you know, Sheila woke up first. I would have been pretty disappointed or pretty hurt if she had just decided to leave me and didn't give me a chance to grow, you know? Like, sometimes when one person wakes up first, your job is, it can be that you're just, you know, you're going to be the influence on that person.
Absolutely.
So, and just be comfortable with that. Like, it has to start with one of you in the relationship bettering themselves, and that's just the reality. So just come from a loving place. We're all one. There's no right or wrong, as long as they're kind and the person's treating you well. Like, just hold that patience and faith. And yeah, you know, this is even beyond you. Like, you're going to help them. So I hope this episode's really changed your perspective, and, you know, you've been able to come from a different perspective now.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah, it's probably what you needed to just not put so much pressure on the relationship or the person. And ask yourself what type of world you want to be a part of creating, because it starts with you. So being open to perspectives, being open to difference of opinions, like that's the most powerful thing, you know? Like the fact that we have freedom of speech is just one of the things that we have to be so grateful for. And I'm totally going off topic.
Yeah, I feel like we just love to chat. We just love to chat.
I love to chat.
What's good about this episode is we've had 2 different examples of someone being completely closed off and one being like on the edge.
It is good to have the 2 different relationships that we could bounce off of. I think we'll leave the episode there for today. If this episode helped you, if you found it inspiring, if you're enjoying the podcast, we would love to hear from you. We would love if you could even share, if you felt inspired by it, if you could share this podcast on your stories and to your friends, family, whoever you think needs to hear these conversations. We would really appreciate it. It really helps the podcast to grow and reach new people. We also love to hear from you if you're listening, just because, you know, we're just nerds for these conversations.
We are.
But yeah, thank you so much for being here and for listening this far, and we will see you
in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye. If you loved today's episode, please do not forget to rate and review in iTunes or Spotify.
If you would love to connect with us on a more intimate platform, you can find us both on Instagram at ShuleOzek and at Nadia Gali. We would love to connect with you.
Thanks for listening.